Hey everybody! In case you didn't know it, bear meat does not keep for a very long time in the freezer. It's got a pretty high fat content, and that fat tends to oxidize and throw off the flavor. Well, after last hunting season, I have got a bunch of bear meat in the freezer, so I'm gonna have to start mowing through it. So today, I am making this delicious smoked bear pepperoni that everyone's gonna love. So let's get started. So I've got my bear meat here. This is 5 pounds of just bear scraps. And I'm going to be fattening that up with some nice pork belly fat. I'm going to bring that right up around 25% fat content. And since bear meat is pretty tough, I don't want too coarse of a grind on that. And I'm also going to grind it twice through this 4.5 millimeter plate. The fat, I'll only grind one time because I do want to have those nice little pearls of pork fat in my sausage. And these are nice and cold and firm, so we'll just hack these up and run them through gnarls. And since I'm working with bear meat, there is always a risk of trichinosis, and I have even more cuts and scrapes on my hands than usual, so I'll be gloving up for this one. Alright, it's all good. Now I'll get one last weight on this, and then we'll work up the spice bill. Now let's take a look at the cure and seasoning for the sausage today, and as usual, you can see the amounts right here on screen, as well as in the recipes below in the description of the video. So of course, I've got some salt and some cure, and that is pink cure number 1. And this is going to be a very peppery sausage. So I have 3 different peppers here, starting with a whole bunch of paprika to give it a lot of pepper flavor and a lot of color, but no heat. Then I've got black peppercorns, which I'm just going to really coarsely grind. And then I've got some chili flake for heat, and use whatever chili flake you like. This is Aleppo chili flake. And here I've got some very coarsely ground fennel seed that I also toasted. And that is going to be our main aromatic. And this is a good amount of garlic powder. And I want this to be a tangy and tart sausage, so I'm going to be fermenting this one. So I'm going to need some starter culture. And it's going to be back to firm LHP starter. This is a very fast growing culture. So if you keep your sausage in a nice warm and humid closet, it'll get plenty of fermentation going just overnight. We also need some food for that culture to grow, and that is going to be dextrose in this recipe. And that is basically a very fine sugar. This starter culture will also eat lactose, so if you want to substitute non-fat powdered milk in for the dextrose, that's going to feed your starter culture as well, and it's a little easier to get than dextrose. I'm going to need a little bit of water for mixing, and I've taken a small portion of that water out so that I can wake up my starter culture. It's been stored in the freezer, so it's very cold, and I want to give that a little head start and get it pepped up a little bit. So you just want to mix that in with a little room temperature water for around 30 minutes before you mix up your sausage. So I'll go ahead and get that going right now. Now we can just set that aside. And this one is gonna cure in the casing, so after I mix it up, I'm gonna be getting it right into these fibrous casings. And these need to soak for 30 minutes before you stuff them, so I'll get that started as well. And then we'll mix this one up. I'm going to be mixing this one up in my big stand mixer today. But whether you're mixing yours up with a machine or by hand, you just want to make sure that you mix this one until it gets nice and sticky. That'll take you a little while. And now, since these fibrous casings are nice and durable, and I don't need to worry about them falling apart overnight, we're going to go right from the mixer and into the stuffer, rather than letting this cure overnight and then stuffing these casings. So my meat's all ready, stuffer's ready to go, my corn pop is always ready to go.
Come on, man.
So it's time to lock and load and crank out this Predatoroni. Welcome into the sausage closet, where now my bear sausages are hanging to cure and ferment. I got one big old dangler there, but for the most part, I got them similar in size. Now I've got the sausage closet going at about 90 degrees Fahrenheit, and I'm just cranking the humidity as high as I can. And in here, that's going to be around 80%. And under those conditions, this LHP starter will be plenty tart after a 12-hour hang in here. The colder they are, the longer they're going to take to ferment. And I do have a pH testing pen that I can check to make sure they've become acidic, but I've worked with this product enough to know that they're going to be fine after 12 hours in here. I'll just let these guys hang in here. We'll keep the conditions nice and warm and moist. And tomorrow we'll get them out of here and into the smoker. Check out that sweaty meat. Still nice and toasty in here. About 95 degrees Fahrenheit. Didn't run out of water in the humidifier. And those things are looking good. Starter culture does need air to do its job, so poking those casings all over with the little corn pop is an important step in this. These particular casings say that they are pre-pricked, but it's the first time I'm using them, so I went ahead and poked them anyway. Now I'm already outside, so let's get these out there and get some smoke into them. Now we've moved these right out and into a smoky smoker, and we're going to start bringing the temperature up very slowly, starting at 130 degrees Fahrenheit. And on these sausages today, I'm going to give them 2 hours at 130, then I'll bring it up to 140 for 2 hours, then I'm going to raise the temperature to 150 degrees to start drying them out. And today I'm going to cut off the smoke at that point. I'm just going for a light smokiness. But if you want to keep the smoke going all the way through the 150 degree stage, that's entirely up to you. I am not here to tell you how smoky to make your bear sausage. But I'm going with a light smoke today, so we'll give them about 4 hours smoke time, and then that dry time is just going to depend on how they look to me. It'll be anywhere from 2 to 6 hours. I'm thinking it's going to be around 4 though. And that's basically just going to determine how tender your sausage is, how dry you like it. I want these to be pretty dense. So I'll give them a little look and a squeeze along the way and see how we're doing. And after they are as firm and as dry as I determine I want them to be, we're going to get them out of here and finish cooking them in a water bath. Oh yeah. Look at that slippery hot meat. They're getting nice and firm now. It's been just under 8 hours total out here in the smoker. That was 4 hours smoke time and almost another 4 hours to dry them out a bit. And I'm just getting ready to move these into my water bath. Now you could finish them out here in the smoker by raising the temperature to 180 degrees. And since this is bare, you're going to want to cook those to an internal temperature of 160 degrees. You could even finish these in the oven if you want to, but both those options are going to take longer than the water bath. It'll take several hours in the smoker to get them up to temp, and in the water bath I can do that in just about 30 minutes. So it is definitely the better option. Go right down into the water bath. No bagging required here. And then I will get my temperature probe down into the big boy here. Right into the center. Ooh. Current temperature 120. Going for that internal temperature of 160. And we will see how long this takes, but I'm guessing 20 to 30 minutes. I'm showing 160 now. So I'm gonna get a double check with my handheld to make sure we've got that temperature all the way through. Looks like 157, so I'm just gonna give that a few more minutes and then we'll get these cooled off. And normally I would just take these to 155, but with bear you gotta be a little more cautious because you don't want to get any parasites. Alright, we're good now. Time to get these down into some cold water. That one just barely fits. Normally I would get some ice in here, but I don't have any ice at the house right now, and I'm not going to buy any. So I'll just take these to the sink, run cold water over them, just a dribble, for 15 or 20 minutes. Get these things cooled down nice and quick and stop any carryover cooking. And that is it. Once these get nice and dried off and cooled down, they are good to go. Ready to chow down on, or you can pack them up and pop them in the freezer. They'll be good in there for a very long time. I usually leave mine hang overnight, and that is what I'm going to do. And then we'll come back and try these guys out tomorrow. My meat is all cooled down and firmed up, so now it is finally time to see how we did. Oh yeah, we got some really nice color on that. Inside and out, you can see how much smoke that got on it, even with a relatively short smoke. That is a beautiful color. I can also see some little bits of fennel in there. Of course, some bigger bits of black pepper. This looks great. Of course, what really matters is the taste. Check out that bite. Hey now, that is zesty. Ooh, it's nice and tangy. All the flavors are really popping in this one. It's got a lot of good pepperiness, that tanginess from the fermentation, and a little kiss of smoke, and the fennel really stands out. Now, if you don't like fennel, you could cut it back a little bit, but if you're leaving it out, then you're making a different sausage. And that is entirely up to you. This is going to be outstanding with some cheese and crackers, maybe a little bit of red wine. It'll be a great addition to your sandwiches, and it is excellent just like this on its own. But if you know me, you know what I'm about to do. Check out that bite. I don't think I'm going out on a limb and saying this is the best bear pizza ever. And of course that is thanks to that delicious bear pepperoni. But you don't need to go out and hunt a bear to make this pepperoni. Go ahead and use beef, use all pork, use whatever you like, but whatever you use, give this one a try, and I know you're gonna love it. Thanks for watching.